Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. So I'll get straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the, starting with the DXY. We've got 5 down here. We've got a WXY. We're in an X2 and we can possibly get that Z up. It's looking unlikely that we will. We do have this bullish hidden divergence here, like I've been saying for quite some time. It hasn't become valid to trade that Z up yet, and it's only now become valid to trade that Z up if we get the buy set up, you know. Definitely need that buy set up first. The invalidation point is this low here for the bull hidden. But if you remember a few weeks ago, I said when we were in here somewhere, more than likely we'll come down, break this low, and then give a larger correction in here, and then more downside. And because this X2 is a lot larger than this first X. So that's why I was looking at it as we'll probably break this low and we'll get the larger correction after we break this trend line. So if we have a look at the H4, we finally got a correction, H4 correction. So why this trend line here holds, you can look for sells. You really need to wait for a correction on the lower time frame now to sell. Unless you took the break of this, which would have been pretty dangerous. But we did get a nice correction in here for a running flat. If you look down on the H1, so we just got the one wave down. So you really need to wait for that H1 correction. Once you get that H1 correction, then look for your downside. On the AU, on the daily, we never got anywhere near that 100 fib. Like I've been saying, this wasn't looking correct. This was looking more corrective than impulsive. We got the break of the trend line. And like I've been saying, we can look at this as the flat. And we'll target that 100 fib. I'll have to adjust that 100 fib, but this is looking more like a flat now. So if we go down to the H4, we got the 3 down on the H4 with the bullish divergence. On the H1, we got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. If I just go down on the H1, so we got that Z up on the H1, W, X, Y, X, Z. Then we got this larger correction for A, B, C in here. It come back to the 50 fib, bounced off that 50 fib, which is nice. And then you got this correction in here for the buy. If you bought above that top, you know, you'd definitely be at break even now. So what we're looking for is another 5 up. Looking for that 5, got the correction, then you're looking for another 5. So now you really need to wait for the correction. Pretty much the same as a DXY. You need to wait for that H1 correction for the WX, Y, X, Z. EU on the daily. Again, this was very corrective. We got the trend line break, but it was so corrective. It never gave a real nice impulse down. So again, we can look at this as the flat for your A, B, C up to the 100 fib. We never got anywhere near that 100 fib. So if we go down to the H4, we had that complete complex correction, like I've been saying for ages. We got that complete complex correction, 333 in here. Now we got an A, B, and we've broken the top in the C wave. So if we go down onto the H1, we got that 5 up. We got that W, X, Y, X, Z. Then we got that. This wasn't a very nice correction, and it didn't come back to the 50 fib like that AU did. But we've gone and broken that top, so wave B is over. And this is looking really impulsive. Again, we just got the one wave up, so you really need to wait for that H1 correction and then look for your 5 up. You really want to wait for, hopefully you get 50 fib retrace in here, wherever that wave ends. It's more than likely not over yet, this in here, but you want to sort of wait for wherever this wave ends and wait for your 50 fib correction and then look for the buy. GU on the daily, again, so this is 100 fib on the weekly. We bounced off that, but this was still looking corrective. So like I've been saying for ages, you know, we can look at that as the flat and we go up and break the top. We'd be targeting that 123.6 and then the weekly 123.6 and then the 161.8. Price goes above here. Well, we won't get any more downside. Like I'm looking for downside here for the weekly A, B, C, and then more downside. So we really have to wait to see where this wave ends, and then we either get more downside. I do think we will get more downside because we got that triangle. We got this triangle here, but we just got to wait for this wave to end. And like I've been saying, this is looking corrective. We never got that impulse down. So yeah, on the H4, we got the Z down on the H4. We got that Z down. Now we've got an A, B. Last week we got that B, looking at that as a B. And then we got this, we're getting this C up. These were your targets. Well, your 100 fib and your 161.8. 161.8 up here for your first and your second target. So now if we look at the H1, again, we got this nice correction in here for running flat. So we're in the wave Y. More than likely we'll get up to that 161.8 or even higher. We don't know where this wave Y will end. We don't have any bearish divergence. So pretty much you have to wait for your X2 now and then trade that Z up. So yeah, wait for your X2, or you can look for flags. If you get a little flag in here, you can look for, you know, scalp it. But yeah, I'd be more inclined to wait for your larger correction again and then trade the Z up. And you oh, all my drawing tools are gone. We never got near that 100 fib on this one. I'll have to put it on again. We got sort of close. Not sure where my drawing tools are gone on this one, but anyway. So this was 100 fib up here. We come close to that 100 fib. And this was looking rather impulsive after we got that like A, B, C. And we do have that bearish divergence. This was looking impulsive. We still can get A, B, C in here before we get more upside. Ideally, that's what we get. If we look at the H4, see, I've lost all my drawing tools on this. Yeah. So we got a WXY in here. No bullish divergence. We got a flat in here. I'm gonna have to put the I think last week we were actually looking for the Z. We were looking for the Z up. Yeah, sorry, all my drawing tools are gone, but we've got WXY. We were looking for this Z up, pretty sure last week. And we're getting that Z up because we had that bull hidden there. So if you're in this trade, your target is that 161.8. Your first and your second target. Settings. So yeah, this was your target, your first and your second target. If you go to the H1, never really got buy set up until you got in here. This was your buy set up in here. This is just one wave up. This is like a M30 flat in here. So really, again, like the other pairs, you really need to wait for that correction before you look for the buy again. Now you need to wait for that H1 correction, unless you're in this on the lower time frames. UY on the daily. So we're looking for that A, B, C. You can see that I've got the arrow there from the couple of weeks back. But again, I'm sort of rolling out this extended wave here. We've got the wave WX, extended wave Y, and then X2, and then a Z up. This is a lot large. This is too large. It didn't come down and break that 50, invalidating it, but it's a lot larger than this. So I can pretty much rule that out. We just got the Y up. If we look here, this is looking still rather bullish like it was last week. I'd be more inclined to look for the sell. I'd be more inclined to look for an A, B, C up, and then look for your break of the trend line, and then look for more like an A, B, C, and go with the trend, larger trend. Because yeah, we got a lower low here with bearish divergence, and we got a lower low. So if you go down to the H1, it's sort of got yeah, so we got this wave down in here, got a flat in here for an A, B, C, completing the corrective structure. Then we got a WXY, getting a YXZ. So if you get any little flags, you can look for the sells in the wave Y, and then wait for your larger correction, and then look for the Z down for that A, B, C on the H4. Ftse on the well, you can see the W1 count. We've got a W, X, Y, X, Z. We do have bearish hidden on the X2 on the weekly. Didn't become valid on the daily, but we did bounce off this 100 fib, this daily 100 fib for A, B, C for the X2. So yeah, we're looking for that. Like I've got this arrow here. So if we go down to the H4 last week, I was looking for this as your correction. We never got the cross, but I was looking for the 100 fib of this. It was down here somewhere. But now we've got the larger correction. We got the crossover. So I'm looking for that. Looking for that A, B, C, or wave Y. You're looking for that first correction. You're looking for that first target, that the 100 fib, and then the 161.8. I dare say we will go and break this low. But yeah, so your first target and your second target, that 161.8. On the H1, you see, we got this correction in here, and you got another one here. You really need to wait for another correction. Wait for a larger correction. You're better off to wait for the larger correction in here. And while this trend line here holds, you can look for the sells. UCAD was one that never really broke that D1 trend line. It's getting closer and closer to this 100 fib. So if we go down to this is a 100 fib here, this orange one. We've got that ABC internal. Last week we had, well, a couple of weeks ago, we had this like ABC here. A, B, C to break this low. Well, it's gone and broken that low, and we've got a larger ABC in here. It's actually hit that 100 fib now. But again, I'll just go down to the H1. Yeah, see, we got WXY. We got the larger correction there last week. We got WXY. This can really fall over to finish off this move. On the H1, we've got WXY. It can come right down to this 161.8, then give you X2, and then a Z down. Nearly at that 100 fib. Well, the 161.8 and the 100 fib are around the same area. So any flag, why this trend line here holds, you can look for sells. If you get any little flag, look for the sell, mainly scalping in the wave Y, first targeting that 100 fib, and probably the 161.8 or the 123.6. But yeah, we've got no bullish divergence, so you can look for the bearish flags. GY on the daily, like I said, been saying for the last few weeks, You follow me? We don't have any bearish divergence, and this trend line here holds on the daily. I was looking at this as internal because it's not, we're looking for a larger correction, and this is not large enough. So I was looking at that as internal, and we can get up to that 161.8 in the wave Y and then get that larger correction and then get the Z up. So if we have a look at the H4, we've got that, I said this one was valid last week, this extended wave, because this extended, this X2 is around the same size as this X1. So we've got a W, X, Y, X2, and we get that Z up. Yeah, we're targeting that 161.8. We've broken out of that trend line. We've got an A, B, C down. This is looking corrective. I'll just zoom in here a bit. This is looking very corrective in here. Really want to see this cross down, this MACD cross down in here for an A, B, C. So sort of wait. It's not quite ready yet. It'd be nice if this crosses down. So it gives you an A, all this is a B, and then gives you a C down for a running or expanding flat, and then gives you like an A, B, C. I don't think it's ready yet because we haven't got that cross down here yet, and we're getting a correction. So if we look at the H1, we would have had the correction. So we've got a W or an A, all this is looking choppy. So we can look at that as a B wave, A, B, C, and then more upside. But again, if you get any buy setup, because this can turn into a like a contracting flat, you know. So if you get any buy setups, you can look for the buy setup. It would be nice to get that, probably this break the top here, and then come down and give you that A, B, C, and then get the buy setup. That would be the safest option, and then look for that 161.8 on the daily for your target. It's not really giving you a buy setup at the moment. So we got this. This is very choppy in here, so it's more than likely a B wave, unless it's, and like I said, unless we get a contracting flat in here, which is going to be hard to trade. If you get a contracting flat, well, you just got to put a buy stop above the top there. But ideally, we get an A, B, C, like I said, and then we get a buy setup, and then we can all look for that buy. EG on the daily, we're looking for that C up. I've been saying for ages. Looking for that C, looking for that A, B, C. We've bounced off that 100 fib, and we're looking for that C up. On the H4, we finally got the correction. Last week we were in here somewhere. We were up here, but we never got we only got the one cross down. So I had the B over here, and we're looking at an A, well, an A, B, and I was looking for the C up. We sort of had this flag in here, and you could look for that. You would have, more than likely, if you took that, you probably would have taken a small hit. But now we've got that larger correction, which is nice, because now we've got an A, B, C as a running flat. And so we got that A, B, C. So any buy setup you get, there was a nice buy setup on this one. during the week. And so we had this in here. If you took that for your buy, you still probably could get into it. It was Friday, so it's going to be reasonably slow. Yeah, so if you get any buy set up, look for the buy. UY on the daily. Oh, don't tell me. It looks like I've lost all my drawing tools on this one as well. Just have a look. No, here they are. Oh, that's, yeah, something to do with trading view. It's not giving. But anyway, we've got the count back. So here we got an A, B, C. We got that bearish divergence. It's gone past this 100 fib now. So yeah, it becomes difficult. But if we go down to the H4, last week we were looking for that Z up. Well, actually, we're looking at this as internal because we were looking for this correction here. This was too small, so we're looking for this is still to go up to that wave Y, 161.8, then give the larger correction for the X2 and then the Z up. This correction here was too small. If we go down to the H1, yeah, so we got an A, B, C. We're getting the C up now. It hasn't broken that top. You got a little flat in here again, you know, if you're looking for this. But yeah, so we're looking for that A, B, C in wave Y, getting up to that 161.8, then give us that larger correction. If you get any little flags, you can look for the buys. You're gonna have to be careful because you more than likely will get bearish divergence as soon as this top here gets broken. Gold on the daily. Like I've been saying for ages, we're looking for this larger correction. Like we've got A, B, C in here for the X1. So I was looking for we've got a wave Y down. So I was looking for, even over here, I was looking for a correction, possibly up to this top trend line. Now we're nearly up to that top trend line. We don't quite have bear hidden here on the daily. So the invalidation point for that bear hidden is up here. But there is no bear hidden there at the moment. Pretty sure. No. So we don't have any bear hidden. But you know, this will be, if price does break out of this trend line and go and break that top, well, we're definitely not going to get the Z down. So we'll just have to see if this trend line here holds, this top trend line. On the H4, we were looking for that Z up last week, and it's hit both the targets, the 123 and the 161.8. It's gone straight through them. You'll see that last week, you know, this was me trade in here on the Monday. So if you got into that, you're done well. You know, both your targets were hit. We did get a nice big retrace in here though. So that took me out of this trade here. But yeah, if you got back in, I didn't get back in on it. But yeah, if you kept it, you've done well out of it. We've got a WXY. See, we've lost the bearish divergence. So any flag you get, you can look for the buy. If we go down to the H1, this is what I'm looking at now. I'm looking for that X2. I'll take this off because it went straight through these targets. So we got the WX. We're getting the wave white. Wait for your X2 and then look for that Z up. We don't know if that's the end of the move yet or not. So I can't really draw the targets. But once you start to get this, wherever this ends, wave Y ends, once you start to get that correction, wait for your break, little flag, and look for that Z up. And you'll be aiming for that 161.8 and the 123.6 extension of your X wave on the H1. WTI, this is looking very corrective. We did bounce off this. We bounced clean off this 100 fib. Bounced clean off this 100 fib over here, and I was looking for that larger correction down to the 50 fib. Well, it's looking like that we won't get down to that 50 fib. It's always nice to get a 50 fib retrace, you know. Sometimes I don't. This is looking very corrective. Like in here is looking very corrective. Now, as we know, a B wave can go and break the top for a running or expanding flat. So we get an A, B, and a C down. More than likely, we'll still get this C down as a running or expanding flat if that top gets broken, and then we get more upside, because this, why this trend line here holds, you know, we'll still get more upside. We do have the bearish divergence, and we will get more bearish divergence if that top gets broken. But more than likely, if that top gets broken, more than likely, if this top gets broken now, it's more than likely still going to be a B wave, and we get that C down and then more upside. Because this is looking so choppy, we're not getting that sharp impulse to give us that reversal. So I've been looking for this last week, you know, I was sort of looking for downside, waiting for this wave C to be over. It's still looking bullish in here. So it's very, so we can look at this as some sort of a flat in here, you know, for an A, B, C, may even go and break that top. On the H1, it's sort of completed. We got in here, got a little flat for an A, B, C in here. And then we're getting a little flag here. So if you do get a buy set up in here, you can take it to go and at least break that top, because we got both. We got this larger possible flat, running flat here as well for an A, B, C. So if you do get, you know, a buy set up in here, as long as that bottom here holds, you can look for that buy. Bitcoin last week, we're looking for the upside. These are your targets here, your first and your second target. On the H4, sort of, we did get a larger correction. Go down to the H1. Yeah, see, I was looking for that wave Y. Well, see, sort of got three up here. So we've got an A, B, C, for a WX, looking for the wave Y. It's very messy, very choppy. But if you get any buy setups, you can look for the buy setup, because on the daily, we're looking for those targets up the top here. This is more of a I'll change this to H4 because it's more of a H4 trade. Well, H4 structure. So yeah, we're looking for that. That's still right. Yeah, so any sort of buy setup you get may just turn out to be an ABC up to the 100 fib. Definitely want to be break even at 100 fib, but aim for that 161.8 because we are looking for this top to be broken. SPX just keeps on going up on the daily. Eventually we're nowhere near that 100 fib, that daily 100 fib. We're getting a lot of bearish divergence. H4, we're looking for that Z up last week, and we did get that Z up. It's at the 123.6 now, and more than likely doesn't look like it's over. So pretty much you can't really buy it up here because you're already at the 161.8. Your trade was last week. So this was your trading here to get in on this. Yeah, so really you can't really do much at all now. Yeah, on the H1 you could look for the X2. So you get got that WX wave white. Look for your X2 and your Z up, and that more than likely will finish off your H4 wave Z as well. Yeah, you can look for that Z up once you start to get that Z up. I don't even think this has gone. It's already at close to the 161.8 in wave Y. It's nearly at that 161.8 in wave Y. So you really have to wait for this X2 now before you trade that Z up. So you'll have to wait for the correction. The DAX on the H1 daily, sorry, we're getting close to that 100 fib. And like I said, it's very corrective here. We're looking for that Z up last week. Couldn't draw the fib last week because we didn't know if that had finished, but these are your targets, your 123.6 and your 161.8. So if you get any flags on this, you can look for the buy. Up to these targets. If you get a correction on the H1 or flag, you can look for the buy. H1, it's just one wave up. So you really need to wait for that correction. This will be nice, actually. You know, just wait for your correction, because we got a nice trend line break. So wait for your H1 correction. Back down to the 50 fib or however far it goes. Wait for your correction and then look for the buy. The Ftse on the daily. This is, I'm going to have to look at this again. On the weekly, we got this bear hidden on the weekly. It's not valid. That's the problem. Well, it is valid to trade this. Sorry, on the as a bear hidden, but we're just not getting those sell setups. Looking for that WX, Y, X, and then the Z down. That's why I'm sort of looking for that Z down. The problem is, we're looking for a correction like this. If we're not going to get that Z down, we're looking for a correction that size. We got this sharp move down here. We've broken that top. We broke it last week. We're getting that bearish divergence. This is still choppy, so we still can look for that A, B, C. It's starting to get too far, starting to become invalid. It's not quite invalid yet, so we still can look for that C down, because there's nothing to go with this A wave. There's just nothing to go with it, and this is like, you know, so maybe we'll get something like this in here to finish off that B wave and then get a C down. If we go down to the H4, see, I was looking for this. I was looking for this A, B, and a C down. We did get a C down. If I go down to the H1, it turned into a running flat. We got this 5 up here. Then we were looking for 8. This was looking very corrective, and it went and broke that top in the B wave. So as soon as it broke that top, we knew that we'd just get a spike down and more upside as a running flat or an expanding flat. We didn't know that last week because we hadn't broken that top. We were still just looking for a C down to these targets. But it turned out to be a running flat. So I can take this off. So we've got the running flat in here. But yeah, it's very, because it was looking so good. This was looking so corrective, but it just never went. It went right at the end after it broke the top. And yeah, this was your trading here if you got it, but you got a flag in here. But it's very risky now. You pretty much have to stay out. Like, yeah, you can trade bullish flags and that. We don't have any bearish divergence. So why you don't have any bearish divergence, you can look for a correction. You're better off to wait for a H1 correction and then more upside. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this weekly outlook. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it, share, and I'll see you out there next week.